street I was assigned is Geary Street. Geary Street runs across San Francisco and passes through major neighborhoods like Cathedral Hill, Japantown, the Fillmore District, and Richmond. As I said in the last clip, Union Square connects directly to John White Geary's story. Union Square draws visitors from all across the world, and it marks the beginning of the commercial setting of the city. When you stand here, you're standing almost directly in the center of San Francisco if you're looking on a map. This is the same part of the city that Geary worked to stabilize. Union Square shows the growth, the traffic, and the economic life that came from those early decisions that he made when he was the mayor of the San Francisco. Let's look at what it's like. This behind me is St. Mary's Cathedral Church right off Geary Street. This structure looks over Cathedral Hill with a clear concrete design and a wide open plaza. This church opened in 1971 and serves as the center of Catholic life in San Francisco. The shape draws your eye upward, and the interior holds large group gatherings, services, and community events. This location shows how Geary connects faith, culture, and daily movement all throughout San Francisco. The cathedral sits right off of Geary, so thousands of people pass it each day. This also anchors part of the neighborhood and signals a shift from the busy downtown Union Square where we just were into a quieter district with more space. This helps show the range of areas along Geary, from retail to worship to community life. Here behind me is the Japantown Peace Plaza, which is right off Geary. This plaza sits at the center of one of the oldest Japanese communities within the entire United States. Over here, Peace Pagoda stands as a symbol of cultural pride and shared history. This area hosts festivals, fairs, and community events that bring residents together within the neighborhoods. This stop shows how Geary supports the cultural life all across the city. The street carries people in Japantown for meals, shopping, and community gatherings. The plaza gives a clear view of how the neighborhood formed strong ties over many decades. It also shows the diversity along Geary, with each section offering a different part of the city's large identity. Here I am at Fillmore and Geary, the center of the Fillmore District. This neighborhood holds a long, deep music history. It started with jazz clubs here that drew major artists and shaped the sound of the area. The streets once held busy venues, social halls, and shops that gave the neighborhood strong energy, some of which it still has. The Fillmore faced major changes through redevelopment, although music, food, and local businesses still reflect the older roots. Standing here gives a sense of how the street connects past and present, and it shows another part of the city's identity built on arts, community, life, and long family ties. Here I am at Mel's Diner on Geary. This diner has a long place in local history and also connects to the civil rights action in the 1960s that we previously learned about in this class. During that period, young activists organized sit-ins at Mel's to push for fair hiring. These groups included college students and members of local organizations. They pressed the owners to hire more black workers since the staff at the time did not reflect the community. The sit-ins drew attention from local media, from the residents across the city. The pressure worked, and Mel's agreed to change its hiring practices and open more roles to black workers. The protest helped spark later actions at other local businesses and showed how young people could use peaceful action to shape change. Standing here connects the present diner to those events. As a clear example of how Geary holds stories of culture, food, and social action in its place, and it shows how the street has been a part of daily actions throughout San Francisco history. John White Geary was born in 1819 in Pennsylvania. Geary grew up in a family that pushed for the need for education, and he trained as an engineer and a lawyer. Geary worked on surveying projects and held several early government roles. During the Mexican-American War, he served as a military officer. His work in the war gave him experience in leadership, logistics, and public administration that resulted to be very helpful in his later life. After the war, he moved west during the Gold Rush period.
San Francisco was experiencing major growth, but with that, the city was also experiencing rising crime, fires, and fast shifts in population due to the diverse amounts of people that were coming to the city in hopes for gold. The city needed a mayor who could handle disorder, create structure, and organize basic public services. In 1850, Geary accepted the role and became the first mayor of San Francisco. His time in office included work on city records, tax systems, policing, and the creation of the stable public offices. At the end of his 2-year term, Geary gifted San Francisco the land that is now Union Square. Geary left the city after his term and served as the governor of the Kansas Territory during a period of conflict over slavery. He pressed for calmer conditions for more stable rule, as the current president of the United States directly asked Geary to take this role because he knew what he did in San Francisco. After his time in the Kansas Territory, Geary then worked as a general for the Union during the Civil War, taking part in many battles like the Battle of Gettysburg and others. I believe that Geary earned a street name in San Francisco because in a time that needed structure and leadership, Geary stepped into that role and was phenomenal. He shaped the early government, pushed for safer streets, and set up the framework that led the city to be what it is today. The economy in San Francisco boomed during the time of Geary's mayorship, and although that was part of a result of the gold rush, Geary maintained the order that would have resulted and the city would have turned out much worse if Geary had not put in that order. His work during the times of the city put him in public memory and for that reason he had a major street named after him that runs all throughout San Francisco. I am now answering a question on a local person that I believe deserves to have a street named after them. I feel that Reverend Cecile Williams is a local person who deserves a street name. Reverend Williams led Glide Memorial Church in the Tenderloin for decades and shaped social action in San Francisco. He changed Glide from just a church into a place of comfort and food serving for people in need in the Tenderloin neighborhood. His work focused on those people who face poverty, addiction, hunger, and housing problems. He pushed the city to respond with care and not judgment. I strongly feel that Reverend Williams deserves to have a street named after him because I also did my core project at Glide Memorial Church, and so I have seen the direct impacts that his work has had on San Francisco.